Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the part two of our writing cognitive test um, session. But today, I will be delivering it through a video lecture that will be soon available into our YouTube. And the last meeting, we already discussed about the multiple choice questions, how to construct a and objective multiple choice questions. And this time, we shall be discussing the other forms of cognitive tests, which are the true or false items, matching type items, and of course, the completion item. Now, let's proceed first with the true or false item. So when we say true or false, this is very common, particularly in uh, you know what, if you want to really assess your students analysis or evaluation, you can use the true or false. However, true or false items are those in which statement is presented and the students indicates in some manner whether the statement is true or false. Now, true or false could be in different manner. It could be select or supply, force choice, or it's much aligned and abuse. Now, true or false can also be in different font. You know what I mean? Like when we say in different fonts, in different kinds, or in different types, pwede mo siyang baklain or pwede mo siyang gawing mas engaging, no? Lalo na if your students are basic education students who are really into the creative perspectives of assessment. Now, if you try to use true or false, you can make other form of this, or you can create or you can do creativity. You can do creativity. You can apply creativity in doing for true or false items. Now, if you try to look at this one, true or false items is good for the educate knowledge level content. When we say knowledge level content, it is more into the um, you are just assessing the knowledge level of your students, and it is also good for evaluating students understanding of popular misconceptions and concepts with two logical responses. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of true or false items? First on the list is it can test large amount of content. And when we say it can test large amount of content, it's very flexible to the point that it could really assess different kinds of contents, may it be procedural content, or remembering content, or memorization content, or evaluation type of content. Students can answer 3 to 4 questions per minute. Why? Because true or false items are the 50% yung kanilang parang yung magiging tamang kutob nila, kasi when they just guess the item, 50% of the probability na makuha nila yung item na yon. Now, true or false items are usually, in my perspective, no, if kulang na yung oras sa paggawa ng multiple choice, I always do true or false items, but I always make sure that the true or false items are items that are literally evaluative in its nature, that would really assess the students' higher order thinking skills. Now, what are these advantages? They are easy. They are easy in the sense that if you're just looking at the surface level, or if you're just assessing the lower order thinking skills, they could be easy. And it is easy because there are only two responses, and either of which are the correct answers. And there is a higher probability in terms of getting the correct items because there are only two alternatives. It is difficult to discriminate between students that know the materials and students who do not, because it is very prone to guessing. However, we can avoid the guessing kind of scenario for the students, no, and we can really it is really difficult to discriminate if the students really learned or just guessed the item just because the item has only two choices. Students have 50-50 chance of getting the right answer by guessing and need a large number of items for high reliability. Yes, reliability means consistency. Now, if you try to assess the consistency of your test, if true or false ang gagamitin mo, definitely you have to create more than 10 items so that there is a high reliability of your true or false items. Now, what are the characteristics of a good true or false item? First and foremost, my dear students, base true or false items upon statements that are absolutely true or false without qualifications or exemption. Now we have here two examples. Nearsightedness is hereditary in origin. Now, can this be desirable or can this be accepted in our test? Perhaps no, because if we try to look at the first characteristics, no, without qualification or exemption. If if you create true or false, it's either true or false. Walang in between. Okay? If you know what I mean, there is no such thing as pwedeng false, pwedeng true maybe, pwedeng ganun. No, it should be true or false lamang po. And this is the desirable item for that. Geneticists and as specialists believe that predisposition to nearsightedness is hereditary. What makes it better? It imposes or it introduces, guys, factual idea, just like a scientific basis of the argument or the item. Meron ng geneticist and specialist. So it's definitely true or it is definite or it could be right and it could be true. So wala siyang gray part na ay siguro maybe mga ganong atake sa question. Dapat exact true or exact false lang po tayo. Another one is express the item statement as simply and as clearly as possible. Do not overword it. Do not, guys, take note that hindi po yan essay, okay? And we are not assessing creativity here. We are assessing knowledge content based, okay? Now, what example here? When you say highway with a marker that reads interstate blah blah blah, ano yan, reading comprehension, we make sure that your true or false items is what? Your true or false item are clearly and concise, precise. Okay, make it clear as possible. Now, here's the desirable item. The construction and maintenance of interstate highways are provided by both state and federal government. As you try to look at it, compare it to the undesirable one, it is more clear, it is concise, it is precise, it is brief, and it is acceptable than that of the previous one. Another one is express a single idea in each item. How do you express a single idea in each item, my dear student? Parang dito, sa undesirable one, water will boil at higher temperature if the atmospheric pressure on its surface increase and more heat supplied to the container. There are more than two topics. There are more than two ideas. How to make it desirable or accepted and make it reliable item. Water will boil at higher temperature if the atmospheric pressure on its surface is increased. Okay? Tinanggal na yung more heat is applied to computer, to container. It is because that's another idea. When you create a true or false item, my dear student, it should be clear at the same time. It only assess the idea, the single idea in each item. Okay? Hindi na po kailangan ng damihan. Again, we are not aiming for reading comprehension here. We're just assessing true or false items. Fourth one, include enough background information and qualifications so that the ability to respond correctly to the item does not depend on some special uncommon knowledge. What is the example of this one? The second principle of education is that the individual gathers knowledge. Okay, so it's vague. At the same time, um, it's uncommon. I mean, it does not the same on it does not depend, sorry, on a very specific special knowledge. How to do it in more acceptable manner. Okay. According to John Dewey, the second principle of education is that the individual gathers knowledge. Always include, my dear student, specific facts that could induce, okay, that could really capture the specific particular. Okay, always take note that we are aiming for clear, okay, single idea in each item. And therefore, the second principle of education, kapag, example, if we try to assess the fourth characteristics, the second principle of education is that the individual gathers knowledge. Who said that? Anyone can say that, or I could perceive that as correct or wrong subjectively. However, if we add according to John Dewey, it makes sense. Okay? It makes sense. So make sure that specific yung facts mo. At the same time, make sure that your facts or your ideas are based on a certain people, philosophy, principle, or any facts, science-based. Huwag tayong maglagay ng the second principle of education is that individual understand. What if yan ang first principle ko? Diba? Principle 1 yan. Just kidding. Okay, next one. Eto, avoid the use of extreme modifiers or qualifiers. Example nito guys, eto sabi dito, all sessions of Congress are called by the President. Ano yung nagpamali dyan? Okay, they use extreme modifiers. Okay? They use extreme modifiers which is the all. All. Kasi, guys, that could induce na ng bias sa mga bata. Kapag may all, most, everyone, okay, generally, how to make it desirable? All sessions of Congress are called by the President. Just simply ask the Congress, the Congress sessions, okay, or Congress sessions, oh, wait lang. Okay, do not, ang sa tanda niyo lang, do not use extreme modifiers like all, never, nobody, no one, absolutely, because these are it might be clue words for the students to 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 get the correct answer. Take note, our goal in education is we assess them objectively. We make sure that they would think metacognitively, okay? How to make it desirable? The sum of angles of triangle is always 180 degrees. Okay. Now, how to make this all sessions of Congress are called by the president? Just remove all. Okay? Remove the word all or make sure to rephrase the item or rephrase the statement. Kasi that could really generate bias or that could really generate guessing or clues to the students. Now, next one, avoid lifting statements from the text, lecture, or other materials so that memory will not permit a correct answer. Jeez. Ano daw? Mamaya. Okay. Huwag kayong mag-copy paste sa libro mismo. Make sure that if you do that, make sure na if galing sa yung content mo sa book, make sure na i-reword mo naman or i-rephrase mo para maiwasan natin yung memorization. Oo. Like this, the law of motion. Ito, for every action there is an opposite and equal reaction. Malamang that's too perennial. The definition is too perennial, and that's very known to everyone. Why not make it in a way that it is from the content at the same time it does not permit a memorization that it it advocates a, a evaluation or analysis type of item. Take note guys, kapag true or false na ang ating item, wag na nating i-ano. Huwag na nating gawing madali, true or false na nga lang, medyo pahirap-hirapan naman natin. Para naman, kahit true or false yan, kahit 50% ang kanilang ang passing rate sa per item, at least they could think of something, di ba? They could really rethink of the idea na hindi galing mismo sa libro, yung item. You know what I mean? Okay? Next. Hindi matatag next. Madali na matag next. Ayan. Avoid negatively stated items. Ayan, avoid using negatively stated items. Ito, take note, my dear student. Kahit sa multiple choice, 'di ba sabi natin, huwag masyadong negative sa mga tanungan natin sa multiple choice. Lalo na sa true or false. Do not use not, okay? Or if you can avoid, if you cannot really avoid it, at least if you cannot really eradicate the usage of not, kasi may mga items talaga na kailangan ng not na mga words, 'di ba? Well, you make sure that all your statements or all your items are positively stated. The Supreme Court is not composed of nine justices. That's undesirable. How to make it desirable? The Supreme Court is composed of nine justices. Diba? Pwede mo lang palitan yung number dyan eh. 9, 14, 16, 12. Avoid the use of unfamiliar vocabulary. Guys. Ito ang sabi natin, we are not aiming or we are not assessing the vocabulary or the reading comprehension or something like that of the students, lalo na pag high school student mo. If very jargon or very particular sa profession yung yung word, do not use it na. Okay? Ito, the undesirable. How to make it better? According to some politician, the raison d'être for capital punishment is retribution. How to make it desirable? Make sure that do not use highfalutin words or sophisticated words that can be applied only in a certain field. Okay, so that is the what we call one of the characteristics of a good true or false item. Okay, so there are variations of items, my dear student. No, there are different variations of true or false items. First on that one is the true false correction question, no? Pag sinabing true false correction question, ito yung mga the very basic, the very used, the most used type of true or false items. True false correction question. True false statement representing a keyword or brief phrase that is underlined that is not enough. It is not enough that a student correctly identifies statement as being false. Meron tayong yes no variation. Ito, bilugan mo lang yung yes or no. Parang true or false na din siya, pero may ibang variation lang na konting twist lang naman. And A-B variation. Ito yung A-B variation, guys. If you try to look at the screen, no? The example below shows a question for which same two answers apply. And the answers are categories of content rather than true or false or yes or no. This is another form of forced choice question because for each item, the student must choose between A or B. So how can we do the how can we make sure that the the instructions, okay, for A and B questions or variation. Indicate whether each type of question below is selection type, supply type, basically A if it's selection, B if it's supply. Okay, ganun lang naman siya. Okay? Next. Okay, let's proceed to the matching type. Okay, matching type is another cognitive test. Okay, guys, we are just we're only assessing the cognitive level of the students here. So from the start, no, we started with the multiple choice, and I believe that we comprehensively discussed how to do multiple choice items. And I think after this one, we can create a test and our own test. And of course, I will teach you how to make instructions. Okay, instructions must be clear, concise, and yeah, let's proceed to the matching items. Alam niyo nung kinder tayo gustong-gusto natin 'to, 'di ba? Nung tayo ay nasa lower grades pa lang na we love matching type because our teacher during our elementary days, they used something like imagery to match the word into the image, something like that. So it's one of the most interesting if you are a kid, diba? If you are a basic education student or learner, it's one of the most interesting items kasi parang igagano mo pa, ililinya mo pa sa column A at column B. Pero guys, ang paggawa ng matching type items ay hindi lang basta-basta. Okay? Items that are usually made to match the words in one column, sometimes referred to as stimuli, and those in second column of possible options. Okay. Meron tayong tinatawag na stimuli at meron tayong mga option or possible option. Ang stimuli guys, ito yung mga ima-match mo sa option. Okay? Matching type items measures the ability to identify the relationship or association, a set of similar items such as words and their definitions, symbols and their meanings, dates, events, causes and effects, etc. Now, usually, ginagamit ko din ito kapag, for example, from the last test that we did, prelim examination, there is a matching type there, pero nakabox, hindi mo naman diretso, college na kayo guys, hindi naman siya diretso ma-match na gano'n, di ba? Parang nasa box lang siya, namipili kayo din, isulat nyo lang yung letter ng mga options, okay, sa stimuli. Now, it is best suited to measure large factual association. Well, if you're measuring factual associations, then this could be your suitable item type. Okay? It is good practice to include more options than number of matches required to minimize guessing answers. Ako personally, hindi lang isa yung sinusobrahan ko. Usually dalawa. Para naman mas mahirap at mas challenging at ma-minimize natin yung pag-guess ng answers. Okay? Kasi pag saktong 10, walang sobra sa options, parang mas prone tayo sa panghuhula at mas prone tayo makuha yung tamang answer kasi nga sakto lahat ng item, sakto lahat ng stimuli sa options. Okay, what are the types of matching items? Okay, the first one is, I think simple. Ito yung parang i-match mo lang yung definition sa yung term sa definition by drawing a line. Okay? I-draw mo lang yung line. And sa paggawa ng instruction sa matching type, ayan o, naka-note, one definition cannot be matched. Tandaan nyo lang, dapat tayo maglagay lagi ng, ng sobra sa mga definition or sa mga options in order for the principle of, para mas reliable at mas valid yung test natin. Another one is classification. Ito is para siyang multiple choice pero hindi siya ABC kundi yung parang encircle mo siya. Look at how um, it was crafted. Sodium with full outer shell of electrons, then naka-close and open parenthesis yan. Hindi ito masyadong nagagamit, no? Kasi parang ang effort kasi na i-encircle mo lang, pwede mo namang gawing letter A, B, C na lang. Okay. Pero it is mas madali siya kasi usually tatlo lang naman or kapag mas daming concept na align sa ating idea, then ayun. Multiple section. Ayan, mag-isang tanong lang, tapos um, bilugan mo kung ano yung tumutugma sa tanong. You can encircle more than one. Multiple choice siya, pero you can the exact answer is more than one. Okay? That's multiple selection. Ito naman is yung labeling. Where are we? Ito, labeling items. Alam niyo yung grade 7 tayo, di ba? The first activity that we did is to draw a microscope and then we label it. And nasa exam din noon yung um, anatomy, di ba? Sa inyo, mga PE majors, you always do this in your anatomy class. It's yung may skull, yung skeletal system, then you actually label the different parts of the skeletal system. Well, ano to, more in the, alam niyo ang effort gumawa ng ganito, no? It's too sophisticated na gawin siyang exam. Pero if you can do it, well, props to you. Very good because you can go miles for your examination. Okay, what are the suggestions in writing matching type items? Matching types are, if you're a college student, well, it's it's not that common in your age, in your level. Pero pag basic ed, talagang ginagamit natin to. Okay? Eto guys. The first suggestion is state clearly the direction how the matchings should be done. If items in a list may be used for more than once, say so in the direction. The matching type, guys, has one matching type type of assessment. Ito yung talagang nakabase ang pointing or nakabase ang paggawa or pag answer sa ating mga kasagutan sa direksyon. Kaya make sure that your directions are clear, concise, and you indicate how it is scored, and you take note on the directions that um if your items or if the stimuli can be used more than once, please state it in the direction. Kasi uh, in that manner, no, ang mga bata mas maki-clear yung minds nila or mas makakuha sila ng mas mataas na exam para hindi ka sisihin at the end of the day. Make each of the list homogeneous. When we say homogeneous, kapag ang tanong mo ay mga pangalan or ang stimuli ay pangalan, puro pangalan ng bayaning ilagay mo. Huwag kang maglagay ng pangalan ng Marian Rivera, ang tanong mo kung sino yung mga lumaban sa himagsikan, may Marian Rivera ba doon? Make it homogeneous as possible. If your questions are dates, then definitely if your stimuli are date is a date, di ba? Or if your questions, yeah, sabi natin question, if questions natin ay date, make sure na yung date lahat, walang nahalong pangalan. Oo. Kaya nga, nung tayo ay nag-prelims, puro type of assessment yung nilagay ko doon and then the definition. That's how we make it homogeneous. Oo. And yung headline, guys, yung heading natin, lagyan nyo ng term and the definition or concept and the example, ganun, or tools and the uses, and so on and so forth. Keep the list relatively short, 10 or fewer. Oo, sa matching type, huwag kang mag 50 items sa matching type, hindi po yan magiging maayos. Napakahirap po, di ba? Para sa mga estudyante, syempre, babasahin nila yun, i-match nila. Make sure na hanggang 10 lang. Okay na yung 10 or yeah, 10 tapos yung mga options ay more than 10. The two lists should not be the same length. The list of responses should be longer. Yes, the responses should be at least one item or two items longer. Arrange the list in some logical manner. Chronological, numerical, or alphabetical. Yes, yung list po dapat natin ay naka-arrange para po sa phase validity. Or for example, ang ating ang ating topic ay World War II, yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga kaganapan ng World War II. You started June and you have to end in December. Huwag mag-start ng December tapos September to June. Don't make it random. Make it logical. Okay? And chronological or alphabetical. Apolinario Mabini, Andres Bonifacio, yung mga ganun. Nauna pa ang end, no? Andres Bonifacio, Apolinario Mabini, Rizal, and then perhaps sa definition, yung mga prominent works or yung mga kanilang ambag sa lipunan. For example, Apolinario Mabini, ang utak ng Kineso, gano'n, ang utak ng ang utak ng Apolinario Mabini, ang utak ng himagsikan, 'di ba? Jose Rizal, ang national hero. And then make sure also that your definition or your responses is homogeneous as much as how we do the question or the stimuli. Make sure yung stimuli at responses natin ay homogeneous yung nature nila. Okay, now let's proceed to the third one, short answer or completion items. Ito yung pinaka-hit natin noon na ating tinatake or sa quiz or sa SITworks or sa mga formative assessment natin, no? Napakahirap ng memorization kasi ito, yung short answer completion test or completion items or what we call identification and complete the box, complete the item, mga ganito ganyan. These are supply type item, okay? Hindi siya tulad ng multiple choice na provided yung mga responses, true or false, sa provided and matching type. Ito guys, supply type siya, pero it could be, it's answered by word, phrase, number, or symbol. How to do it? Okay, meron tayong first, short answer. The short answer item uses a direct question. Ayan, what is the name of the man who invented the steamboat? Or what is the name of the man who first landed in the moon? No, ganun. Yung mga exact lang ng mga katanungan ay isa lang yung mga magiging sagot. ito tinatawag na completion item. Kanina, short answer, ito completion item. The completion item consists of an incomplete statement, usually fill in the blanks. And take note that in completion item, do not put the blank in front, before or at the start of the statement. Make sure that you put it medyo sa dulo. Oo, oo. And dalawa lang ang short item guys completion and short answer lang. Okay. Fill in the blank and identification. Parang ganun pa. Parang mas layman's term, no? Uses of short terms or answer items, knowledge of terminology, or specific facts, principal method, simple interpretation of data, ability to solve numerical problems. So these are the parang uses of short answer items now. So it does measure the lower order thinking skills kasi it only measures the rote memorization. Okay? Advantages, easy to construct, 'di ba? Kaya nga puro kapag nagpapa-quiz ako, ganito, make sure na I personally, if I do quiz, no, yung parang group quiz sa Quizbee, gamit na gamit ito, 'di ba? If I do quizzes, I use short answer. I also use uh, tawag dito, multiple choice and true or false so that may variation yung aking quizzes. However, the advantages of short answer items is very easy to construct. Like who, what, where, and when. 'Di ba? Walang why, walang how. Ganun lang yung mga katanungan. Or blank, blank, blank. Ganun lang. Reduce the possibility of guessing because walang choices. At the same time, the student will recall a specific topic or content. Limitations of short answer items, unsuitability for measuring complex learning outcomes, and difficulty of scoring. The first one, hindi siya suitable na gamitin itong type of test na ito for measuring analysis, evaluation, and synthesis ng mga learning outcomes. It's not possible, okay? And difficulty of scoring. Minsan kasi, no, ang supply test or sa mga supply items ng short answer completion items, guys, uh, may mga complexity in terms of uh, scoring it, no? Pero depende yan sa magiging rules mo. For example, tawag dito yung parang items 11 to 13, ganun, medyo nakagulo lang, no? Make sure na parang mag-set ka na lang ng standard sa scoring in terms of identification, completion, or short answer items. Okay. How do we do short item and short answer items? Okay. Word the items so that required answers both brief and specific. Okay. Make sure that the items are properly worded and it's specific so that the answers are also specific. Example to, an animal that eats the flesh of other animal is, that's, there could be, ano, the animal that eats the flesh of other animal is, no? Make it specific. An animal that eats the flesh of other animal is classified as. Kasi sa poor, pwede mong is bad. Kung nang talatag yung estudyante mo. Diba? An animal that eats the flesh of other animal is bad. Kung nagarod. Diba? Make sure that merong word na classified. Diba? Carnivorous, omnivorous. Diba? Kasi if you ask this to a young student, no? Sabi na, ay, teacher bad. Kung na ganito. Diba? No, make it specific and brief. Do not take statement directly from textbook or use basis for short answer item. Eto, ayan, parang sa true or false lang na, guys, iwasan na natin yung mga copy-paste na mga copy-paste, yung kakopy mo sa book, then paste mo sa kung paano ka magpa-exam, no? Nababawasan po kasi yung parang authenticity ng learning ng bata, no? Parang ito, chlorine is to make it better, chlorine belongs to a group of elements that is combined with metals to form salt. It is therefore called blank, halogen. O, di ba? It's not direct copy from textbook. A direct statement is generally more desirable than incomplete statement. Oo. Mas desirable kapag ang student ang magsusupply kesa yung completion, gawin yung from incomplete statement, then co-complete. It is, for example, from this example, John Glenn made his first orbital flight around the world in blank. How to do it in better way? When did John Glenn make his first orbital flight around the world? That's better. Pero to make it the best, make it specific, you ask if when was the year? In what year did John Glenn make his first orbital flight around the world? 1962. 'Di ba? So, sa mga item guys, especially sa mga ganito, make sure that in the questions, it's specific also. Lalo pag you are teaching history, then when did Rizal publish his Noli Me Tangere? Di ba? Yung mga ganun. Sir, tatanungin yung estudyante, Sir, complete date po ba? Di ba? Make sure that your answers, or your questions, completion item question, is specific. That only para makuha mo yung specific din na sagot ng bata. Kasi pag nag-check na kayo, sir, wala ka namang sinabing exact date. Wala ka naman pong sinabing month, year, and day. 'Di ba? Ikaw pa yung masama. Ikaw pa yung mali na teacher. If answer is to be expressed in numerical unit, indicate the type of answer wanted. O yan. Ayan, ito yung nirereklamo yung nakaraan na parang, di naman na-indicate ni sir kung lalagyan pa ba natin ng measurement unit. Kasi tinanong, how many feet kun kunana, di ba? Feet kunana ba di 5? Then, 1 kunayo lang gamin di jay. Pero mali din ni sir niya yun kasi he did not specify if ano yung numerical units. Diba? It should be indicated. Ito, if oranges weigh 5, 2/3 ons each, how much will a dozen? It's vague, diba? Chlorine belongs to a group of elements combined, diba? Ulit. Make sure that you you asked in a way that how much will a dozen and ons yung parang tinanong mo, diba? Be consistent with the numerical units, lalo sa mathematics. 'Di ba? Mathematics, sa biomechanics nyo, or and so on and so forth. Okay, blanks for answer should be equal in length and in column to the right question. Tama, huwag kayo maglalagay ng pagkahaba-habang blanco na nabibigyan ng clue kung ano yung magiging sagot. What is the name of the part of speech that connects the words, clauses, and sentence? Kunanan to. How to make it better? What is the name of the part of speech that declares, assets, or predicts something? Okay. Yung blanks, guys, if you put blank, make sure that the length is equal. Okay? So that you cannot induce, parang binibigyan mo ng manifestation na ito yung sagot kasi ito mahaba. Ito yung sakto dun sa blank. Ganon. Do not include too many blanks, guys. Ang pangit, poor. Blank animals that are born in black and black, their young clothes are blank. That's violation in my perspective. Too many blanks. Tapos lagyan mo sa item mo, item 6 to 7, 6 to 8, pero tatlong blank, apat na blank na agad. Warm-blooded animals are born alive and suckle their young are called blank. Mammals, di ba? Mga ganyang bagay. Mga simple lang, pero makikita kasi yung quality ng isang gawa ng item kapag maayos din yung pagkakagawa ng mga questions. Unfortunately, there are some teachers who do this and then ilalagay sa 6 to 7, item for items 5 to 7. Ganun-ganun sila. Avoid doing it. Okay. Short answer completion items, how to do it, be clear and concise. Yung instruction nyo, focus on key concept and avoid ambiguity. Okay? So that's how we do it, guys. Of course, encourage critical thinking and provide context scenario, include diverse question types, review and revise. Okay, I think we are done with the writing cognitive items. Next meeting, I will teach you how to write or construct instruction, direction, and the TOS. And of course, for our last activity is how to make a test. Okay, gagawa kayo ng 20 items test. Wow. So I think we're done with these, guys, and we can stop recording now. Thank you so much for